Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, everyone. And now, look, this is really interesting because I just did a reading for someone and I had nothing but technical problems. It's like one thing after another. This wasn't working, that wasn't working. I had to start a new video, and now I'm doing the exact same thing, an hour later or so. And it works perfectly fine as usual, no problems whatever. So, I think that sometimes I was doing a reading on someone who is deceased, and I think that I've heard, I think I'm experienced that when I'm doing a reading on someone who's on the other side, if they're in the vicinity when I'm doing the reading, if they're with the person I'm reading for, or whatnot, the electric currents inadvertently they affect the electric currents. They affect electricity and anything electrical. So it's very interesting that I had so many electrical type problems, which really what internet connections are is very it's all about the connection there. So, anyways, I just find it interesting that everything's working fine, perfectly fine now, but it wasn't when I was doing a reading. I think that the other person on the other side may have been in the vicinity, may have been around the person I was reading for, and that may have caused some interruptions there. So, just that little story there. Anyways, so this story isn't partly I wanted to come on to test it out to see if that was the case, and I think it is because now everything's working perfectly fine and smooth. But I did come across this article about Meghan in the mainstream media. A lot of stories coming out. I mean, there's always a lot of stories, but it just seems a little bit more than usual. Maybe it's just me. But it says here Meghan Markle handler demanded a private table at a restaurant in 2017. So this just came out today. It says a new book claims that a member of Meghan's staff angrily requested a private table for her at a New York City restaurant. You can't make this up. Le Coucou in 2017. And I did look it up. There is indeed a restaurant, French restaurant, very sophisticated, chic Le Coucou. This is where Meghan eats, Le Coucou. She's always about the food, that one, right? So she was at Le Coucou. Madame Coucou was acting Coucou at Le Coucou, and but she has other people. So this is typical of Meghan. She doesn't say anything. She has people around her bully on her behalf, just like she does with the Sussex Squad, just like she did with Christopher Boozy. And here's an example. She started before she was even engaged to Harry. They weren't even engaged yet. Nobody knew who she was, right? No one knew who she was until that engagement announcement with her in the white jacket, whatever. And there she is wearing the outfit like Wallace Simpson. So an upcoming memoir. So this is like yet another book. In an upcoming memoir, Your Table is Ready: Tales of a New York City Maitre d'. Former maitre d' Michael, I can't remember say his name right, Sechi Zolina recalled the time that the now Duchess of Sussex visited the restaurant and the unpleasant exchange he claims to have had with Meghan and her handler specifically. He claims that Meghan and her assistant arrived 20 minutes early for their reservation and that her staff brusquely asked for a table saying, quote, "It's for someone who's dating a prince," according to the Daily Mail. Okay, this is a Daily Mail article. The memoirist wrote, quote, "I said, I still don't have a private table for you." Apparently, the handler asked, quote, "Are you aware that my guest is dating Prince Harry and about to be a duchess? Don't you have a private area for us to wait?" So she wanted to wait in a private area and get a table she wanted. So the maitre d' continued, quote, "My first impulse was to laugh. I could give two craps about Prince Harry's date, and by the attention the escort was drawing from the crowd at the bar, nor did anyone else." Yeah, because no one knew who she was. This was before the engagement announcement. He also claimed that Megan, quote, "didn't say a word," and that she acted aloof. At the time Megan was dating Harry, that she met in 2016, they were engaged later in 2017 and married in 2018. Yeah, so this is after James Corden came out for being very rude and abusive to staff. So Megan also copped an attitude at a fine French restaurant, Le Coucou, in New York City, and acted like, "Well, don't you have a private area?" She wasn't even engaged yet. Nobody knew who the hell she was. So I'm just looking at the prices real quick. Let's see here. It's not too extravagant. I mean, I guess for a fine restaurant, you know. It's pretty pricey though. But anyway, so that's Megan. You know how she is with the food. Always with the food. Just saying. It's always about the food with her. It's all she really cares about is food. Food and sex all the time. Roast chicken. Hi, Chicky. Hi, C. Hi, Lady of the Lake. Hello, hello. So, yes, I just want to look at this. Why did she have such an attitude that she was so confident that she was going to marry Prince Harry and become a duchess? And this is before, I think Harry even asked the royal family. And remember when Prince Harry confronted Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, rest in peace, when he confronted them, he said, "If you don't let me marry Meghan, I'm going to accuse you of racism." And then he told the queen, "Suck it up." Right? Remember that one? Suck it up. Wow. So I'm wondering why Megan was so confident that she had Harry so wrapped around her finger at this point that she's actually going to a French restaurant in New York where nobody knows her, nobody knows who the hell she is, nobody cares, and she cops such an attitude to have the gall to have her handler there go in and confront the maitre d' and say she's dating a prince, Prince Harry. Really, really, she couldn't wait for the power. She's so power hungry, right? She just couldn't wait to be pushing, people away, cutting ahead of the line. I mean, this is a true power hungry narcissist psychopath. Anyways, let's take a look. I'm gonna take a quick reading here. Take a look at Megan, why she was so damn confident in her old baggy bones that she'd be entrapping a younger prince and marrying him, and that the royal family would allow it. I'm sure they regret it to this day. But let's see. Why was she so confident in 2017 before the engagement that she was going to entrap Harry into marriage? Why was she so confident that to go to I mean, it's one thing to feel confident, but it's another to go to a high-end restaurant and announce it to the maitre d', "You should give me a private room because I'm dating a prince." I mean, that kind of crap doesn't go, in a place like New York where they see famous people all the time and a lot of, you know, hustlers like Megan out there, they're not going to believe a word you say anyway. So here we go. Let's take a look at Megan and why she was so confident at that time. What gave her that confidence besides her psychosis and her self-inflated grandiose notions of herself? Let's find out. Let's see. Why was she so full of herself even then? When she was still a nobody, nothing suits actress that nobody ever heard of. Let's find out. Except outside Toronto, anyways. So, a general attitude. Where she get this confidence from? Something new here. Now, this can be her pushing. These doesn't this look like Megan's hands there? There's Megan's hands. Megan's hands posed for this. Yeah, she was pushing out her. She wanted them to write about it, or she wanted to push out the story because she used the media to entrap Harry, I believe, with that vent in the royal family. Because if you put it in the media, the PR, then it forces the royal family to respond. And they did this all throughout, even up till including Megxit, and they're still doing it to this day, use weaponized media. So she was trying to push this story out. She was trying to push out this. Yeah, she wanted to push out her newfound power there. She wanted, ooh, Four of Pentacles reversed. Yeah. Because, she wasn't getting the treatment. This is like the maitre d' here. May I help you? And the maitre d' was, of course, not giving her the servitude treatment because, Megan expects everybody to serve her. Also, I get that, she wasn't securely there yet. So there was a little bit of insecurity here in that the deed wasn't done yet. So there's and, she's the most unlikely person you would think to be marrying Prince Harry at that time, right? The most eligible bachelor at the time. So, she still wasn't perfectly secure, but I think she was pushing herself out there, pushing the story out there, just like she did with the Vanity Fair interview. She pushed it out there that she's Harry's girl when they specifically told her, do not talk about Prince Harry in the interview. And that's exactly what she did. So she was going around town telling everybody, wow, she's just going around, I'm going to be a duchess. Yeah, long before they were even engaged yet. Nobody knew who the hell she was. What was the basis of the situation? There we go, the chariot. Always the chariot with that girl, pushing the narrative, pushing herself, forcing it. And I also see this as like her connections, so a major arcana is like a group behind her political group, or the Obamas and the Clintons and whatever other deep state connections that she had was propelling her on, pushing her on as well. So she knew that she had them to fall back on and possibly their blackmail material. Maybe they had something on Harry or something, or the royal family, as many have suspect. But she definitely had those connections that were helping her to manipulate Harry and entrap him. And she was pushing it along, and she knew she had to do stuff like this. And I think she was advised by her group to do stuff like this to get the word out. So, what led to her in this particular, leading up until her little bullying session of trying to bully the maitre d' at this fine French restaurant, Le Cuckoo, Madame Cuckoo. She would eat at a place called Cuckoo. Uh, Yeah, she's still working on it. She's still working on it. The Seven of Pentacles, trying to get her resources together there, her work. I mean, obviously, Megan's work is a social climber, like climbing the tree of success here. She's still working on it, trying to gather her resources here. And she's working on Harry. Of course, her job was to entrap Harry. And, it's interesting, I have in this particular Seven of Pentacles is a cow back there, right? And just like Doria says, why buy the cow if the milk is free, right? Oh, that's what she said. What did she say again? That's the actual phrase, but she said something like, don't give the cow away for free, something of that nature. Whatever the case may be, Megan the cow was not giving her cow away. She was making sure to get what she wanted for her investment in Harry, her her what do you call it, roasted chicken investments. And another thing I thought of later after I read her latest blathering in Variety magazine was that Megan's made another perverted illusion, which someone else may have caught this already, but the fact that she said Harry's favorite restaurant is In and Out. Okay. So again, with the perverse, perverted sense of humor she's got going. So they're always perverts. So I know there's some kind of perversion with the waffles one. I don't know that one. I don't want to look it up. I'm just not interested in their low level, you know, perverted demon minds. They can just keep to themselves. Anyways, so yes, that's Megan making sure that Harry pays for the cow and working on towards that. So she's working towards with her group here, and that she was forcing this new story out, forcing her new status even before it materialized. I don't believe she was engaged at this point. She was still working on it. Because I'm not getting like an engagement or something preceding this, so it's not like it was a set deal beforehand. It was not set yet. So this was her merely pushing pressure on the situation. Yeah, she's crazy. She's always about pushing what she wants, pushing her way in. Princess Pushy. And like they said, like Lady C said, the royal family felt and the queen felt that Meghan made Princess Michael of Kent look reticent, I believe she said. So, I mean, it's this idea she really is this pushy and delusional. I mean, it's crazy. And she's abusive. And she's abusing these complete strangers with this attitude of something she hadn't even obtained yet. Yeah. So, next. So, did she really expect to get this private area? She's so delusional. Eight of Swords. Yeah, so she was trying to see. Yeah, she wanted the private area. I mean, this is a private area. She wanted this private situation. She wanted to be separated from the commoners. You know, Meghan's dating Prince Harry now. She's not lowly like you. She's above you now. You're just the chattel cattle that should be donating $5 to Sussex Squad every time Meghan feels like donating something from Archwell, right? And go leave a story there so she can copyright it and plagiarize you, right? And use your data to make money with big tech, you know. Uh, but anyways, she did expect to get a private area. She really did. Wow. She just she couldn't stand, after, she really adopted this, she's an actress, remember? So she was like acting her role before she had the role, right? So she was, and this is what actors and actresses do. They before they shoot a movie or show, what method actors or whatever, I don't know, I'm not an actor, but I do know that the way they practice for their roles is that they live their roles for a while and they actually live like the person that whoever they're acting like. And so here we have Megan in her typical acting. So I do get an acting vibe here as well. This was a new role for her, and she also is practicing being a duchess. Like, how would a duchess act? How would a duchess dress? Dress like a duchess, right? So she was definitely doing that as well, practicing for practicing her attitude and condescending and power playing, power tripping role here. Yeah, yeah, she's a Leo too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Many actors are Leos. Yes, yes. So let's see here. What worked against Meghan being engaged? Because now remember, she was not engaged to Harry yet. There was no engagement yet. Hadn't happened. But Meghan was confident enough that she was going to bully the royal family into marrying Harry. She was all ready. So what worked against her marrying Harry? Ooh, the Emperor. The Emperor worked against her. So I take this as um, the person in charge, which would have been the Queen. The Queen and Prince Philip. They were obviously against Meghan from day one. And they did warn Harry, as everybody else did. Everybody tried to warn Harry, you know. But Harry wouldn't listen. He wouldn't have it. He was just, and Meghan infected him with her thinking. But, she knew the establishment. This is, the establishment, the powers that be, the staff there. Nobody liked Meghan. Everybody could see right through Meghan, what a hustler she was. Or as the Queen put it, a tart without a heart. Because she really is heartless. There's no warmth at all. Everything about her is fake and phony. Even her fake and phony charming act, there's like no warmth behind it. And that's what the queen noticed. She's very mean, and she behaved that way. And the fact, they always say you can judge someone by how they treat others who are beneath them or the others who work for them, like a maitre d'. And the fact that Meghan was this abusive, but of course Meghan's very sneaky about her abuse. And this is her Mars and Cancer in the 12th house for the astrologers out there. She doesn't come out and get in their face. She has someone else do it. Right? You notice this is a repeated pattern. It's the same with the Sussex Squad. It's the same with Harry. Harry's the one out there always fighting her fight. But Meghan always acts like, I didn't say anything, because she's keeping her nose clean in the PR so that you can't say, well, Meghan said this or Meghan did this. So there's no, except for her staff. Now, her staff and people who deal with her, like this maitre d', they can, usually can experience her wrath. But actually not this maitre d', because this maitre d' saying that Meghan's handler, the guy who worked for her, was doing this on her behalf. So she knows how to keep her nose clean in the PR so that when this book comes out, you can't say Meghan said this or that, because the staff member did it for her. And that gives her plausible deniability, like Joe Biden likes to say, the big guy. plausible deniability. So now the book comes out, Megan can say, I didn't tell him to say that. I didn't know that. I wasn't even there, right? So she gives her an out there. So she goes, it wasn't me. I didn't say anything, right? So she probably pushed it off on him and said that he must have done that on his own, right? So she's got the plausible deniability here. So it's very clever. So that's where her little clever manipulations and operations come in there. So what was helping her to marry Harry, to snatch Harry and to get him chained, the ball and chain? Ooh, Nine of Swords. Yes. The depression here, his mental illness. She knew that Harry was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and that she had him. She knew how to manipulate him. Her friends helped her, no doubt. And of course, her working so hard to pose. This is her working hard to studying Princess Diana's pictures. And you saw that latest picture. I think it was the Duchess of Narcissus posted the Princess Diana wearing the exact same gold halo type gold necklace that Meghan just wore. I mean, she's always copying Diana, always, 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 and even to the point where Prince Harry thinks she's Diana. And I don't know if you can see it on this card, but there's like a spirit, a woman's spirit here, up here, and down here, the mentally person suffering mental illness or suffering emotionally distress here. So this I see as Harry down here, and this I see as his mother. So Meghan knew that she had, stuck the pins into Harry and had him convinced that she was just like Diana. Meghan is just like Diana. She's a humanitarian. Look at the pictures of her in Africa posing just like his mother, right? So she had him convinced. She knew she did. She knew she had him manipulated. She knew she was wearing Diana's perfume, wearing the same clothing, putting her hand on his back, and all the things that Diana did. She knew. She had the inside info. Remember, Meghan was in the group with Obama Biden, who hung out with Prince Harry all along, before and after the death of his mother, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It could be after, but she had a lot of intel. She had all that deep state intelligence on him. So she knew exactly what buttons to push, how to say things, how to talk to him. And you notice that you can that interview in South Africa that she did, she was again mimicking the facial expressions, biting her lower lip the way Princess Diana did, and also speaking in that, soft, husky voice. Well, thank you for asking if I'm okay. Not many people have asked. So which was totally affected. We know that's not how Meghan really speaks. We hear there's plenty of interviews where you see how Meghan really speaks, which is, well, I think blah 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 blah, and I think women don't need to find their voice. We have a voice. You just need to use it. Blah blah blah. So that's her normal talking voice. So you compare her performance, right, on stage, sitting with William and Catherine and Harry in the very beginning when they were working together for the few days that they did. And you compare that to the South Africa version of Meghan, where she's all reticent and Princess Diana-ish. And, it's hard, So like two entirely different people, right? So she's an actress. She's an actress. And Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth were well aware of actors and actresses and how they are, and also crazy people and how they are. But anyways, she knew she had Harry tied down mentally. She knew she had him trapped. She knew she had him manipulated. How did she see the maitre d' and these people around her? How did she see them? Five of Wands. Five of Wands. She want to take them down. She sees them. Anybody around, she sees as somebody who needs to be knocked down. And if they don't behave properly, like if you don't worship Meghan, if you don't fawn all over her and tell her how wonderful and beautiful and talented and perfect, and how all those people who criticize you are just jealous. They're just jelly. Yeah. So she obviously she wanted to beat everybody down who didn't treat her as the Duchess. So very combative, very much, much pushing. But again, through her group, like when she does a Sussex Squad or her handlers or her agent, whoever's working for her early on, she sees them as, needing it. She saw the maitre d' as somebody who, was he giving her. She felt he was giving her attitude by not getting her a private room that she wanted, right? She wanted privacy. She's famous, So yeah, so she saw him as being an uppity. He was uppity to her. How dare you speak to me that way? Don't you know who I am? Attitude. So yes, a pesky little peasant as was Meghan's attitude for sure. So, how did Meghan get Harry to marry her? We all know is lots of things, but world reversed. New World Order vibe here. I get this idea of the deep state who are now destroying the world in various ways, including a pandemic and certain you know what's. Major arcana forced by a group. I'm getting group behind her with the political and social, uh, political, but mainly global political group behind her that helped push her into the royal family. And I think that that is what gave her the confidence to make Harry marry her, besides manipulating him and everything else. And that, Harry was under the Harry had wanted to separate from the royal family, and she got him to do it. And she did it by saying, you've got to leave the way they treated your mother. You can't stay here anymore. We must leave. And just like your mother wanted to, we're going to move to America, right? So this was a part of the manipulation and getting Harry in fear that if he didn't leave, marry her or whatnot, that he would lose her. And of course, later on with Megxit, he was worried about losing her through an accident, through the paparazzi, the media, doing something, following her into a tunnel or whatnot. So history repeating itself. They keep saying that history repeating itself. It's like what history repeating itself besides the fact that Megan's repeating Diana's outfits all the time. But that's the only history repeating itself. Anyways, so in the long term, how is this story going to affect Megan in the long term? Ooh, Page of Swords reversed. Yeah, she'll lie about it. She'll do something nasty to him. That guy better watch his back. Her Sussex squad is coming for him. This is the Sussex squad team, Page of Swords, and they are pissed and they're going to be nasty and they're going to dox him. And Christopher Boozy might try to, do something to him, try to, break into his bank account or who knows what they did to Yankee Wally. I mean, who knows what they'll be up to, but something nasty at least. They'll be attacking him online and his reputation and his book. Look out for the Amazon reviews. Keep an eye on that because you all know how the Sussex Squad and others, these PR trolls, do with the reviews. So they'll probably go in and attack his book and give him poor reviews and things like that. And of course, Megan's going to lie about it. She'll lie and lie and say, that didn't happen. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So she'll deny it or she'll just be completely silent. But she's definitely going to sick her Sussex Squad, Christopher Boozy camp on him to malign him and try to disparage his reputation like they usually do. I mean, because they are so nasty. As I get a lot of nasty cards here: the Five of Wands, the Page of Swords reversed, the Nine of Swords. I mean, Megan's nasty. She always is nasty. And this whole operation, what she's done, is nasty. And it's quite surprising that she did get Harry to marry her, and that she did get was allowed. Harry was allowed to do that. Yeah, because look where we are now, right? Right. Anyway, so that is what I see for Megan bullying the maitre d' at the fine French restaurant Le Coucou back before she was even engaged to Harry, back before when she was still a nobody and nobody knew nothing, had no idea who she was, and she was flouncing around expecting to wait in a private room because she was dating a prince. Wow. Crazy, crazy. Yes, she is. So I hope you enjoyed this. If so, please like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.